This is a video around Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Studying psychology in school or university, I'm sure that you might have come across the hierarchy of needs, the pyramid. But maybe you haven't come across the true perspective right at the end of Maslow's life. He added a small little tip of the iceberg. So let me inform you so that you can self-verify this. So this has a lot to do with the mind and also with awareness mingled in together. A genuine self-inquiry here is of utmost importance. If you're going to listen to this just from a mental construct, then your mind is going to try to deceive you. Because it does not like being wrong. It does not like noticing that it has been interpreting things wrong. And for that reason, you experienced traumas and you have gaps in your hierarchy of needs. So let me come to foremost, what is mind? Mind is the display of the space realm. So mind connects location, time, and space. Because awareness is timeless. So from the summit, let me tell you this. You can see the valley down below. So if you are going hiking and you are down at the valley, it's very difficult for you to be able to see what it is like at the summit. But once you are up there, it's very easy for you to see down low in the valley. Partly there are humans that do not know what their purpose are. And there are also those who know what their passion and purpose is, but they crave success for the wrong reasons. I'll get to that. What does this all have in common? The gaps are preventing you from self-realization. You are building your pyramid from the foundation all the way up. And if the foundation has too many gaps and holes, then whatever you build on top of that is going to cave in sooner or later. And it is not that you walk up and then you stay there for the rest of your life. No. What happens is you climb up and you take a few steps back, and you climb up and you take a few steps back. Your ego development gets triggered and you need to go back to the foundation. If you are under stress, if your body is experiencing fight or flight, then you revert back to the foundation of your hierarchy. It is your foundation creating the cornerstone of higher realizations. So here is it plain and simple. Every single human being on this planet, whether you know about this or not, is here to self-realize. You are here to realize the truth, not the construct of truth, but the truth of what you are. To dissolve all of this ignorance back into that which you truly are. There's a lot of paths to that. Some find it through the creativity of music, others through the yoga path, others through psychedelics. There's not only one path. There's a lot of ways that you can get up the hill. but in deceiving and denying yourself the capacity and capability of realizing the truth of what you are, you are deceiving yourself, and you are causing yourself a lot of unnecessary misery and suffering. Some call this process enlightenment, and it has been thrown around so much that I'm not even sure that I like to use this word anymore. But it's not my responsibility to, in detail, all I'm going to do is challenge your construct and idea around what enlightenment is. Because to some people, enlightenment is, all these sunshine and roses, like I am such an angel and love and light will flow through me. You're robbing yourself from an experience. Because think about it. These glimpses of enlightenment that you had, the concept of I was absent in them. When you were truly ecstatic and blissful, the construct of I was not there. Only upon returning did the ego come back together and it formed the I, identified with mind and body. But in that pure blissful state, the I dissolved. Your purpose is to discover your gifts and your passion and share that with the world. Society needs you to be successful with your talents and your gifts, because your extremely unique and extraordinary story, along with your gifts and your talents in that story, has created a unique perception. And it's that very unique perception that society needs. Only you can do what you do and contribute to society the way that you uniquely can. Someone else might try to copy what you are doing, but they will never ever execute it the same way. Even using the same words, repeating the same words. I have to give thanks here to Leo from actualize.org. Even me sending out this powerful message that I got inspiration from him, it's going to be received differently. The words is the vehicle that delivers the current. Notice that. That is why you can say the exact same words as me, but it's going to have a different current. And maybe it has the same current, but it's still going to be delivered differently, uniquely, with a tone of voice, with pauses in a certain way, with facial expression, with a body expression. The words are merely 10% of what we communicate. So society really needs you to be passionate about your talents. Society needs you to stop lying to yourself, to stop trying to be pretentious and unhealthily humble in denying your talents or gifts. Sometimes it's difficult to see. In human design, as a projector, we are not meant to know ourselves. And I'm referring to myself here because it's really difficult to get to see myself clearly. It's so easy for me to recognize someone else because that's what I'm here to do. But if you are going to be unhealthily humble, then you're not contributing. You're not of service. So this fills the holes in the hierarchy, and that in itself expands your capacity of awareness. Awareness is the ability to perceive, or the ability to notice. So your success through your passion will become a stepping stone instead of the destination. Like so many successful people or people that became successful for the wrong reasons. Why? Because they believed that they had to become successful in order to be comfortable and in order to live in luxury. What does that create? It creates a laziness, which means you're going to accept whatever the mind and the ego wants you to believe. You're not going to use your success as a stepping stone to higher awareness. You're going to stay stuck in the level of awareness that got you to success. And then you're going to make yourself as comfortable as you can there. Having the car, a luxury house, having a maid doing your dishes and cooking you food and waking you up and taking care of your daughter or son, or doing all your admin work, like having a personal assistant. Now, please don't get me wrong, like there's nothing wrong with having this. But if you lose the true willingness to inquire deeply within, to expand your awareness, or to remove the veils that is obscuring your awareness to be realized, then you're using your success and not being of service. You're not contributing your dharma to the world. And again, this is going to trigger a lot of people. And it's not my problem. For a really long time, I thought it was, and I kept quiet. I kept quiet when I was able to see things that others couldn't. Because they were so much in denial that they didn't know that they didn't know. I started not only becoming physically sick from it, but I started hating myself because I wasn't using my talents and gifts accordingly. My deepest longing was to be of service of others. And it ended up that I was being of service for others in a way without boundaries, people-pleasing, having no spine. And I was deeply, deeply unhappy. Nothing satisfied me. Not money, not spirituality, not jumping down the rabbit hole of healing this and that and this and that, the one thing after the other, until all my energy was exhausted. I share this with you because I am not excluding myself from this. I might even be so selfish in keeping myself busy with content like this, understanding the structure behind it, because this is what I need. I need these reminders. I need to keep myself busy with things like this. Otherwise, I get lost in trying to pursue and trying to satisfy desires that can only be satisfied temporarily, when the deep longing is for eternal happiness. And that cannot be based on conditions. So with timeless awareness, your success opens the door to a higher pyramid realm, self-realization and transcendence. If you are not sure what self-realization is, it's realizing, recognizing, and remembering what you truly are. when you are busy with other goals and filling the holes, it is impossible to see these higher steps. So what I'm talking about here might not be easy to comprehend. And this is not a good or a bad thing, it simply is. Your capacity to be aware of something else when you're constantly stuck in survival mode, it's not going to work. But that willingness and that curiosity, that deep longing for those higher states, for the higher awareness, that's the fuel. Not to plug these holes based on, oh yeah, now I did it. Okay, this hole is plugged. We're not going to plug the holes, or if a window breaks, you're not going to plug that hole by putting duct tape over it. Because it's a matter of time where someone's just going to pull the duct tape off. Plugging these holes is allowing the natural ability for the awareness to become the curator to fill these holes with what they need to be filled with. The mind and the ego always wants to be of service. But it is up to you to teach them a new way of doing that, instead of based on conditioning. Fear conditioning. If you don't do this, you're not getting this reward. I'm sure parents love this because it's the lazy way. Your parents love this because you'll probably be able to resonate with this. It's what my parents did, and it's what their parents did. So if you're trying to reach having a high self-esteem, but your basic foundation of security and family and connection is lacking or full of cracks, that becomes the carrot tied to a rope in front of you. Or maybe glimpses are experienced, but constant stability won't have a foundation to stand on that's going to last until it caves all back in again. This sometimes leads to coping mechanisms where the ego pretends it can lead you there for real, and addictions or other destructive patterns can come to the surface. Protective mechanisms. Because the ego and the mind is lazy. They do not like to do work. So they are going to try to convince you that you're fine. You have nothing to work with. You don't have to solve anything. You don't have traumas. You don't have raw spots. Complete deceiving and denial. So comfort and luxury can easily become the distraction. The mind loves the ego's entertainment, and they play well with each other. Creating a convincing story why it is safe to stay there, and creating even more comfort and luxury in order to stay there. So drawing all the attention from the main goal, awakening to truth and transcending. Now becomes earning a lot of money, being financially free. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as that is not based on a misunderstanding. So here are a few tips. Number 1, take care of your 5 elements every single day. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Your body is borrowed from these 5 elements. You are made of earth. You are an extension of earth. You have a body made up of 5 elements. So take care of them. Eat healthy. Drink enough water. Breathe. Notice the spaciousness around you. Because if it was not for space, none of the other 4 elements would exist. Enjoy sunlight. Ground down. Because if your body is lacking something, if your body is malnourished, or if your fight and flight mode is constantly on, whether this is based on an emotional trauma or a protective mechanism or simply the environment that you find yourself in, then there's no room for you to grow the awareness to move higher up. There is no energy left for understanding the higher realms. So, nourishment of the body, in essence, is fueling the ability to notice more. It's fueling the ability to expand awareness and consciousness. Everything is connected. Number 2, discover your gifts and talents. If you are not spending time discovering your gifts and talents, you are robbing yourself and this world. You are wasting energy. This is not nice to hear. And the ego and the mind will try to convince you that you are humble, that you don't want to be a hothead. Your gifts and your talents are needed. Every single day. Every single day. You get good at what you do. So if you get good at denying your talents and your gifts, if you keep doing that, you'll get good at it. If you don't move, you'll get good at it. If you criticize and judge, you'll get good at it. If the willingness is there to go on a quest to discover your talents and your gifts, you will get good at it. And it's not always a fun journey. I want to be good at singing. But my true talent is to spark a new perception, is to see truth far beyond what others can. And this doesn't fuel, or I don't think that I'm better than anyone else. Next, what is keeping you from being successful in this passion? So look at the hierarchy. And with true inner honesty and genuine inquiry, past the blind spots and see the holes. We have people in our life to reflect these blind spots. So you can either believe the ego and the mind convincing you that that person is annoying me, that person is irritating me, oh my God, I hate that person. That person's hurting me, that person is nasty. Or is that person just reflecting a part of yourself which you are judging, deceiving, and rejecting? Because all we can perceive is what we are. And the last tip is remember the order. Remember the order of things. Remember the order of the hierarchy. Remember the order of awareness. First, you recognize inward. Then you realize the eternal awareness, the everlasting awareness. And then is the outward reconstruction of what is perceived. It doesn't start with trying to reconstruct the outward notions and then seeking inward. That's going to make me realize, no. It's first a genuine inquiry inward. So it is.